It's another Wellness Wednesday here with Pinky for the Cure. I want you guys to stay tuned so you can get healthy and well with me. This month, we're going to be focusing on boosting those immune systems. We definitely got to get ready for the changing of the weather, right? And so I want you to get your water, get your notepad, so that you and I can get healthy and well while we boost our immune systems. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, this particular episode is going to be just a little bit longer than our previous episodes because, again, if our immune system is strengthened, then guess what? Our body is going to be strengthened. Also, when you think of Pink It for the Cure, I want you to remember that we are concerned about your spirit, your soul, and your body. And so, this episode, I'm going to be focusing a little bit on the spiritual aspect of taking care of our bodies. When I came up with this endeavor, God kind of gave me this. All right, with the diagnosis of cancer back in 2017, I got catapulted into looking at how I'm treating my body. And so, scripture that definitely I have adopted ever since then is coming from, and it's a very familiar scripture, coming from the book of 3rd John. All right, 3rd John, everybody probably, if you know, right? 3rd John chapter 1, verse 2. And I want to basically, and I paraphrase, God is talking through John, and John is saying, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper, be in health, even as your soul prospers, right? And so I kind of did a little research with that because I wanted to kind of dig deeper. Our bishop kind of is starting a new series. What is it? What did he say? I think is the title of the series that he's doing right now during our midweek service. And so I was like, okay, what is God saying here? So before I get started with helping us to understand how our immune system functions, I want to talk about why I'm even kind of doing this and what kind of inspired me to kind of get into this. So 3rd John is about the need, that particular book of the Bible, and I'm going to try to be as quick as I can here. All right, but so 3rd John is basically, the focus is the need of or the need for hospitality to the traveling preachers and or other believers who may be traveling, right? And so then, of course, that took me to what hospitality really was. Of course, most of the churches, they have a hospitality department, right? And even with understanding that what 3rd John's main objective was in the need for hospitality. So I looked up the biblical meaning of hospitality, and it was a welcoming and caring for others with no need for anything, you know, to be given back, as far as nothing to gain. So you're caring for someone and you're not looking for anything in return. So that's one biblical kind of meaning of hospitality. When you think about that form of hospitality, you think of these characteristics, such as loving, right, serving, being considerate, where the Bible talks about how God is. So we want to be like God, right? And being in no respecter of persons. That means it doesn't matter who, what, when, where, why, how. We are loving on you with hospitality, and then welcoming. And so we think of welcoming when we have a hospitality committee meeting you as you're coming into the church, or even any event. As you're coming in and entering into an event, you have someone at the door welcoming you in. That's hospitality. That's a form of hospitality. And the book of Genesis, chapter 18, verses 1 through 15, it just talks about how Abraham and Sarah were hospitable to the 3 men that visited his tent, right? And so that's just one example of that type of biblical hospitality. The Hebrew meaning of hospitality is, let me try this now, Nak Nasser ochim, all right? And that is a significant, uh, Jewish value of taking care of people and just being welcoming and caring and loving. Even so, that it was even more important than divine presence. All right, so I'll do a deeper discussion about that. And I know you guys are like, what does this all have to do with what we're talking about with health and wellness? I'm getting to it. Just hold on, bear with me, please. The Greek meaning of hospitality is philiozena, philiozena, and phileo is kind of a compound word. Philo meaning love, and then xenia meaning stranger. So love the stranger, right? And so in ancient Greece, hospitality was considered a sign of honor and virtue. So I'm getting to the point of God is kind of using me, all right, to be hospitable to you all. He's giving me insight. He has helped me to get certified in holistic weight loss and nutrition. Um, with my, taking better care of my health and my temple, I've done a lot of, trial and error and try this and trying and checking and just kind of doing a lot of my own deep research about different things as it relates to my body and sharing it with you all. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, of course, everybody's body is different, but I want to share what I know in hopes that it is something that could help you. And so I'm trying to be hospitable. And going back to 3 John 1 and 2, because it's talking about how John was addressing a young man. When I say young, it's believed that he was kind of elderly, just like John was, but I think his name was Gaius. And he was talking to him when he said, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest be in health and prosper. And so we just definitely take that into consideration. So I said all that to say I want you to be in good health and prosper even as your soul prospers. Now, I want to talk about why this is important, because I know that, especially young people, you only live once. I want to eat what I want to eat, drink what I want to drink, do what I want to do. But God is concerned about our physical and our spiritual health. He's concerned about our well being as a whole. And so, yeah, I used to eat whatever I wanted to eat, especially when I was younger. Then when I got older, I was kind of trying to be a little bit more health conscious, but I was still basically eating things. And I'll just call myself ignorant to some of the things that I was eating. That was detrimental to my health, unknowing. And I'm not saying that the diagnosis that I received, the reason why I got the diagnosis definitely was because of my diet, but I'm thinking to myself, and just out of revelation and wisdom, discernment, and knowledge, that, yeah, it probably didn't help it. All right. And so, unfortunately, um, some of these things may be, argued about, or, you know, um, not everybody's going to be in agreement with all of this, but definitely know that it's worth looking into, and it's definitely worth being proactive to take better care of your temple so that you can, so your body, as a science teacher, I told my students, you want to take good care of your body so that when it's time for your body to take care of you, it will. And so getting back to how much God loves us, if we don't care about our bodies and our health as much as God does, I mean, all right, we're neglecting our bodies, um, especially, and this is mainly, if you have if like if, for example, people who have high blood pressure, I don't think that it's, rocket science to tell that person that they're going to have to bring down their sodium intake. And so if you are continuously eating things that are high in salt, knowing you have high blood pressure, I think that's called neglect. You're neglecting your body. And so I'm not trying to, be a police officer, about this, and, just, be a meanie about, especially when our palates are super excited about some of the foods that we've eaten in the past, and we want to keep eating those things, and the way that things are looking and they're smelling and they're tasting so good. I understand. Trust me, I do. but we want to make sure that we're not overindulging. Can I say that? Because I am a firm believer in moderation. But even with that being said, if God tells me not to eat something, I don't need to be eating it. I don't care if my husband's eating it, my child's eating, my best friend says, let's go eat this. If God tells me not to eat it, you know what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is, and what I want to submit to you is there something that you feel as though you shouldn't be eating anymore? And even if it's not a feeling, are you hearing? Are you hearing from God telling you you don't need to eat that anymore? That's not the best for you. All right? What's not the best for me may not be the same list for you. But what I'm saying is there's got to be something. And I'm not just trying to be a bugaboo here, oh, we just can't eat anything. And I know it may seem like that. Trust me, I feel like that. Me and God have had those conversations. But with that being said, because of the world, the fallen world that we live in, it's not a cookie cutter. It's not going to be the same for everybody. And here in the Western civilization, I have to say, does not have the best diet. We don't have the best, traditional methods of food harvesting and all of that good stuff anymore. You know, so that's basically the place and space that I'm coming from. Excuse me, when I talk about these things. But anyway, if God cares about our physical and our spiritual health, how much more so should we? So we don't want to neglect it, and we don't want to indulge in things that we shouldn't be indulging in, and that involves, eating, drinking, and doing. All right, we shouldn't be neglecting our bodies or neglecting what God has for us. Neglecting or overindulging in the things that we shouldn't be eating. Even if we do like ice cream, and it's okay for you to eat ice cream, and you can have dairy ice cream, all right, full on dairy, whole milk ice cream. It's probably not the best to eat the whole half gallon. You know what I'm saying? It's probably not best to eat it every day of every week. You know what I'm saying? Chips or soda or whatever. Moderation, overindulgence. But if there's something that you should not eat, don't indulge in it at all. Let's try to find a replacement, something else that you can put in its place. Okay? And so that's basically what I want to say. And when we're not, and this is the hard part, this is going to be harsh to hear, but if we are not doing what God has asked us to do or told us not to do for us, that's sin. And we know what the consequences of sin are. The wages of sin is death. You feel me? And so I'm just going to speak for myself. If I continue to do what I want to do and not listen to what God told me to do, I could have died from cancer. And I know you might know, that might, be cringe. But I'm talking about myself. I can't speak for everyone else's story, and I'm not trying to be, inconsiderate of others' stories. And, I'm talking about Michelle and her journey and her story, and I'm trying to share and encourage and inspire and, help you all being hospitable, show hospitality to you while you're in this platform that I have here, that maybe there's some changes that you can make, because some of you may be dealing with, some form of sickness, illness, or disease, even in your bloodline, or you may be having some issues with, weight. And so sometimes we can sit back, take a deep breath, look at ourselves in the mirror, ourselves, and think about something that you could do or that you could change to help yourself. Okay? Again, God's concerned about our body and soul, and as Christians, we should be concerned with it as well. We should not neglect. We should not overindulge. We should care for our bodies, care for these temples that God gave us, care for our physical and our spiritual needs with discipline. And yes, it does take discipline. Trust me. I'll be the first to tell you. Trust me, I've gotten it wrong several times. So it's not like I've just started off and all I eat is lettuce and grass and water, and that I've always done it that way. I do share what I do eat, and I do eat those things, and those things are healthy. But sometimes some of those things included things that God told me not to eat, whether it seemed like it was healthy or not. And everything that looks healthy or says healthy on the package does not necessarily mean that it's the healthiest and or the healthiest for you and your body and your body's makeup. Okay. Um, so we want to be disciplined. We don't want to overindulge, and we don't want to neglect our bodies, because we want our bodies to be healthy and well and at our best, so that we can be our best and be available to serve God and to be the best for God. Okay. And I don't mean to be super spiritual, but hey, it is what it is, and this is where I'm at, and I love God, and I hope you do too. And if not, and if you want to know a little bit more about God, we can talk about that too. But let's get into our immune system and boosting it. All right, amen. All right. All right, let's talk about these immune systems now. So, the rest of this video is going to be focused on how does our immune system function. All right, our immune system is made up of several organs, several structures in our body, uh, lymph nodes, right, tonsils, the thymus, the spleen, bone marrow, where white blood cells are located and made, mucous membrane, our skin, our lymphatic vessels. All of these organs and structures work together to fight harmful substances that try to enter into our body, harmful bacteria, harmful germs, um, and they enter in through our digestive system if they get inside of our bodies, also through our skin, believe it or not. All right. So we want to think of things and try to do things, research things to help our antibodies. All right, we'll talk about that in a moment, to specifically fight certain germs that our body has previously came in contact with. I know many of you may have heard of, even with the viruses, we talked about our pandemic. Um, Oftentimes, if you had contracted COVID, um, and they talk about all these different strands and stuff like that. But if you had a specific strand, 9 times out of 10, prayerfully, your body created antibodies so that if you come in contact with that same strand, you should not, get infected. Your body should be strong enough to fight that particular strand off. Or if your immune system is just top notch, top level, it's a possibility, it doesn't matter what the strand is, your body is fighting it off. You may have a couple symptoms, maybe. You know what I'm saying? You can't help if the actual virus has entered into your body or through your skin, right? But many of you probably have the testimony. You've heard people say, "Oh, I didn't have any symptoms." What do they call it? Asymptomatic or whatever. And then, "Oh, I only had this." So I had a sore throat. Well, I had, a stuffy nose or a headache, or so, just depending upon, your body. All right. It just depends upon your body and its immune system and how your body fought it off. And unfortunately, there have been some whose immune systems have not been the strongest, whether they've had some underlying condition or if they were elderly. Unfortunately, their immune system wasn't able to fight it off, and none of the, medications or any of the things that were done to try to, help. So we want to be proactive, and um, we want to make sure that we are doing those things to help fight, help our body fight, because our body was created to fight. Our body was created to heal itself. But if we're not, consuming the things and taking care of, our body structure and our body functions, helping it along the way by what we ingest, what do we expect? All right, and I'm speaking from experience, so I'm not trying to be a ding, even though I am an educator, I put my glasses on and make sure I can see all my words here. But please know that and if you know me, you know all of this is coming from a place of love. And if I ever say anything that is too harsh, or please put it in the comments, let me know. I'm just kind of trying to flow here and just trying to give you some, proactive advice. Like I said earlier, hospitality. Welcome to my home. And this is where I'm living right now, and this is what I'm sharing with you, sharing what I'm trying to live. And so getting back to the functions, all right, other functions of our immune system is to specifically to keep the invaders, such as those bacteria, bad bacteria and those germs out of our body. All right, destroy those invaders if they do enter in, like I mentioned earlier. Limit the harm of those invaders or that bad bacteria or germs. Also, our immune system helps in the healing process if we do have any damage or, get hurt or anything happens to our body. The healing process is quicker when our immune system is stronger. Our white blood cells latch on to the germs specifically. All right, so if we have a strengthened immune system, the white blood cells are strong and they're going to latch onto those bad germs and they're going to absorb and destroy them. Pow, pow. So let's build our immune systems up, ladies and gentlemen, all year round. I'm talking about it now because this is a time where we know that the seasons are changing and the weather's changing, and oftentimes, unfortunately, people go through different forms of viruses and sicknesses and colds and things of such. So we want to build those immune systems up, like I said, so that we're ingesting things to help our immune system work and do their job. All right. And so usually though that time of year is, as the summer ends, entering into fall and entering into the winter time. And so we're talking around the October through March time frame. All right. And that's when people get under the weather. All right. I was looking at what under the weather meant, and it's kind of like a sea term that they used. I don't know if they still use it, but they got up under the ship if there was bad weather. And so now we use it as under the weather as, not feeling well. So let's quickly talk about what are the things and the ways that we can strengthen our immune system. So, of course, as you may know, exercise is probably one of the top things. Sleeping, getting plenty of rest, eating healthy foods such as citrus and herbs and other immune boosting vitamins, and we'll get into those specifics later on this month. I'll talk about a few of those things today. Limiting our alcohol and quitting smoking. I would say quitting drinking alcohol as well as quitting smoking, but I'll just say limiting, okay? Staying hydrated, keeping our hygiene, cleaning our hands and making sure we have practicing good hygiene, practicing good stress management techniques, and weight management. If we keep our weight managed, it also helps our immune system. And reducing our sugar intake. Hated to even have to say that. But anyway, so let's talk about, I think most of those are pretty self-explanatory. Let's talk about moving on into the different types of immune boosting foods, just to kind of give you a little snapshot of what those may look like. And these are also known as superfoods. All right, we have them called superfoods because they improve our health and wellness. So they're superfoods, okay? Berries of all types of berries. Fish oil, omega-3, which is found in salmon and tuna. And you want to try to find the wild caught, depending upon if you are on a plant-based diet or not. If you are on a plant-based diet, of course, we'll come up with some other ideas. But if you are eating meat, or what do they call it, pescatarian, then you still eat fish. But there's also pills that you can take, the fish oil pills with the omega-3s in them, healthy fats. You get your high vitamin C from your leafy green vegetables, mostly the ones that are darker. I don't usually buy the iceberg lettuce. It really doesn't have very much nutritional value. At the very least, you want to buy the romaine, but even better is going to be your kales, your collard greens. Those are your darker leafy greens. Also, spinach is good. And these are rich in antioxidants. Of course, those help fight infection. So we're talking about, taking care of our immune system. Of course, your different nuts, such as almonds and walnuts, are your best ones, and sunflower seeds. I know we all prefer maybe peanuts or cashews, and those would not be horrible, but you want to boost your immune system. You want those three power hitters, those super nuts and seeds. Spices also, these are also helping in antioxidants. You have your cinnamon, and I've researched and found out that there's a specific kind of cinnamon. We've been buying the same cinnamon, I know, ever since we were, generation after generation. But, and let me say this right quick. So how do you know that this is all good for you? How do you know? And we'll talk about the difference between organic and conventional foods next later on this month. But how do you know that it's this? So I'm about to tell you that it's called Ceylon cinnamon, Seylon, and I don't know. But just like some people say, and I'm gonna say this, oh well, when I die, I don't know if I'm gonna go to heaven or not. I just believe the universe is gonna just, welcome me in, whatever our beliefs are, right? And so we believe a lot of things. Like I believed when I sat in this chair that it wasn't gonna fall. So what it is, like I said earlier, try and check. Fact checked. Fact check it, try it, see how it. You gotta kind of like it's gotta be kind of like a science experiment, right? And so I don't know everything. And how do I know that this, that, and the third? Well, my testimony is I'm still here. All right. And so, with that being said, I know some of y'all, well, I'm still here too. I get it. But what I'm saying is, I'm still here and I shouldn't be. I could have been dead and gone based off of the things that I know. And so, I'm sharing what I am doing and what I'm adopting, and it seems to work. And if it's something that doesn't work, then we'll stop. We'll make note of that. Um, Water is one thing. Like, okay, what's the best water? This and that. I have been drinking a certain natural spring water, and then I started testing it with the alkaline drops to see, because the alkaline is better. You don't want to have a body that's has a lot of acid in it, and so alkaline water is the best type of water. All right, but if you can't get your hands on an alkaline machine, so what bottled water or what other water source? If you don't have a well, and even with the well, you got to test that water. And so, first things first is I'm praying over everything. I'm listening to God. Okay, don't get this, don't do that, try this, try that. God help me. What is it that I should drink? What kind of bottled water should I drink? I want to stay alive. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. That's the type of thing that I do. And so, the things that I'm sharing, like I said, it's up to you. You either try it or you don't. Okay, and so the Ceylons, I said all that to say, okay, because I heard some of you. How do you know that's gonna work? How do you know that this is good for this or this or that? So you just research, just like we Google everything else. How to put together a playhouse? How do you change a tire? We Google everything else. So Google it. Google everything. Google it. Google it. That's where we're at. So Ceylon cinnamon is better than the other. I can't remember what is the other one. Saigon cinnamon. I think we've been using all of our lives, and it just according to research, it says that it is more acidic, and the Ceylon cinnamon is a more of an antioxidant. And so there's a lady that I follow on YouTube, or not YouTube, Instagram. She might be on YouTube too, but she's like, don't forget the cinnamon. And so definitely she puts it on everything. She sprinkles a little bit on everything, and I've actually started doing it. And It's just a light sprinkle, and it's like I don't even really taste it. I put it in my smoothies, I put it on my salads, different foods that I eat. So anyway, garlic is another spice. Turmeric. I don't want to be on here too much more longer. I've kept y'all long enough. Citrus fruits. Excuse me. I talked about that. Grapefruit is good. Oranges are good. Lemons, limes. Help to fight infection and things of that nature. Again, antioxidants, they increase your white blood cell count. White vitamin C does that. If you do eat meat, try to find the organic poultry or organic meats. Like I said, with fish, try to find the wild caught versus the farm raised. Unfortunately, the farm raised is not being treated as well. And there's a lot of fat involved in the meats of the, if you look at salmon, for example, the farm raised is fattier. You cook it, it's a lot of grease, a lot of oil. You want to have a certain amount, but not overindulge, right? And so the organic poultry is going to be high in vitamin B6, which is good. It helps to also reduce inflammation, pain, and swelling, things of that nature. Of course, you want your bright colored fruits and veggies, such as red color, peppers and your apples and your carrots and things of that nature. These are all high in vitamin C. And again, those are definitely helping to increase your white blood cell count. And white blood cells are those cells that help, fight off the bad germs we talked about, those invaders. So let's boost our immune systems daily. Let's not just wait till this time of year or wait till the seasons change. Let's try to do it daily, all year long, and see how it works. Let's do an experiment. Let's make a hypothesis. Let's do an experiment, and see. 6 months, is a pretty good amount of time when you're changing your diet. Track it for 6 months. Sometimes it depends on what it is. It may be even less than that. But, just try little things. Take baby steps, but definitely be proactive versus having to be reactive. And that's what I had to do. And so that's why I'm sharing and doing this. That's my whole objective, to be proactive versus having to be reactive after the fact. All right. That's going to be it for today. I've kept y'all long enough. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, watching, liking, sharing, commenting. I definitely appreciate it. Again, this is hospitality, so I'm not looking for anything in return. The only thing that I am looking for is for you to share with others, because we want us all to be healthy and well, don't we? And like I always say with Pink It for the Cure, I quote the scripture: you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Until next time, stay tuned. Again, this month we're going to be boosting our immune systems. Let's get healthy. Let's get well.